going on, guys? We've been gone for a minute. Finally back in our groove. We're doing our best to stay consistent.
Consistency is key.
You know, we grown, we got lives and stuff, so you know what I'm saying? Which is no excuse. You know, y'all want this work, you gotta get y'all that work.
I
Right?
missed you, man. What you been up to?
Me? Just been recovering, man. You know, I had a rough recovery with my last surgery. Still kind of healing up from that. So what are we talking about today for the people?
We're gonna jump into a little bit more of a political debate again. Roe versus Wade and the vote upon Senate Hill. Whew. My first thing is, what do you think about abortion?
Well, you know, first and foremost, let's you know, give the overview for people that are not familiar.
Okay, yes, I'll start
with Roe
there.
versus Wade. And if they're coming to this video, they may know Roe versus Wade, but they may not know, you know, the clear.
They might think the basketball player,
Exactly.
Roe versus Dwayne Wade.
So the clear baseline of what it is,
Okay.
right? We have the Supreme Court themselves that are coming in, trying to challenge and overthrow, a bill that was passed, or push motion to pass. It still hadn't passed the filibuster, but pertaining abortion.
Pretending or protecting?
Pertaining.
Pertaining. Okay, pertaining.
So the conversation was pertaining abortion.
Yes.
Saying that the argument has always been that women don't deserve the right to decide or determine when, if, and how, they plan to conceive their child, if they plan to abort, or if they plan to have the child. I personally feel like, to briefly speak on what you asked me previously, I feel like no man should have the right to tell a woman what she can and can't do with her body, right? But we have back in.
So here's my thing. I'm not gonna say, yes, you're right. However, man, if you get pregnant, we get pregnant, and we need to have a conversation.
Now, see, here's the thing, though. That conversation. See, here's the thing. People can get caught up in that discussion, and it takes away from the real severity about what we're really talking about.
Okay.
So the severity of the issue isn't if a woman gets pregnant, you're in a relationship with her, you're married to her, you're dating her. The conversation is not about, are you going to keep it? Are you going to keep it? Who's going to? That's not even the conversation. This conversation, Roe versus Wade, is an issue what happens when she makes a decision or when a decision is made. So what you're talking about.
You're talking about the second step.
But again, whether this bill passes, it doesn't pass, whether it gets, redacted, changed, added to, would never, ever address the issue you brought out, which I do feel like there should, personally, I feel like there should be some laws and legislations around, what happens if we don't agree to have the child? You know what I'm saying? Because women have full power over whether they choose to have a child or not.
Period.
Right? Regardless if this bill says, you only can get an abortion within the first 2 weeks or whatever the bill may become, right?
Or you need a father's signature.
You need a father's signature. Doesn't matter. That issue hasn't been addressed. The issue that we're talking about, we don't want to denote away from the real conversation, is whenever she makes a decision, does she have a right? And what I'm saying is no man in this setting should ever have a right to tell a woman what she can and cannot do with her body as it relates to having an abortion or having the baby.
Okay.
So, of course, but for those that are unaware, Roe versus Wade came out in 1973.
Yes. Right?
And with Roe versus Wade, it was very clearly, definitively talked about a decision from the U.S. Supreme Court back in 1973. It surrounded around, they pinpointed what's constitutional and what's not constitutional.
Okay.
Right? We're talking about the Supreme Court. They issued a 7-2 decision in McCorvey's favor.
Who went to court to be known as Jane Roe. And that's where the name Roe versus Wade comes from.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, the argument was, with it not being constitutional, it talked about a woman's right to privacy, which, here's the thing, though. So those people that would argue that, it's okay for the Supreme Court to come back and say, she doesn't have a right to. No, this argument is deeper than that. This argument is about your privacy as it relates to medical care. Your privacy, which is no different from if you contracted HIV, which is why the hospital, the doctors you go see can't publicly publicize out in Times Square your face showing you have AIDS or HIV. Stay away from this person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the Roe versus Wade was originally under that umbrella. Talked about it not being constitutional.
And see, the thing is with this is it's another one of those things where people are not going and reading the whole thing and just taking what a politician says on face value. And they're losing, and that's where a lot of people lose the argument. So when we start breaking things down like that, it's your privacy, it's your secrecy. Like it should be stuck to that. People don't understand that part.
Right.
So go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. This is back and forth, bro.
No. And you have a lot of people that like. somebody asked me how do I feel about it. And I was like, honestly, I can't tell a woman what she can and cannot do. However, if we get pregnant, I would like to sit down and have a conversation.
You know, so let's change gears for a second, and I'm gonna switch lanes, and we'll go back to that topic that you just brought out. My thing is this: I feel like it's wrong for a woman to conceive a baby, number one, and then try to go against the father and say, "I'm gonna do what I want to do."
Okay, that part.
See,
okay.
there's laws that protect. Well, there's laws that exclude fathers away from parenthood.
Yes.
There's laws that exclude fathers as being equal parents as it relates to family structure. Literally, right?
Fight for that.
So when a child is born, you know, out of wedlock, if the woman can't afford to provide for the child, she gets public assistance.
Even in wedlock.
Well, I'm saying in or out. The woman, if she can't provide for the child, she gets public assistance. If the father can't provide for his child, he gets incarcerated.
Yes.
And gets his license revoked, his passport taken.
A lot of stuff.
And he doesn't even have rights to his child. He has to go get legitimized. So fathers are in a lot of states are vilified as it relates to the family structure. So in my personal opinion, I've always said,
I think that kind of funny. Which is
fucked up. I think that, you know, we're talking about legislation as it relates to, you know, women's rights. Yes, women deserve rights. She deserves the right to, if she wants to get an abortion or not, you shouldn't be in her way. You shouldn't dictate what trimester. Now, if she's 8-9 months pregnant, okay, I can get,
that's murder.
You know, that's murder. I can get
Which
that.
brings up another question, like when is life started as far as a pregnancy?
Now, which is why back in 1973, when originally Roe versus Wade, that was the whole issue, right? So Roe versus Wade it's unconstitutional, right, to tell a woman what she can and cannot do with her body, to take control over this woman. And the argument came up about trimesters. So the question was, okay, if it's not constitutional for us to tell her what she can and can't do with her body, okay, we'll entertain that. What about trimesters? And like you just said, what becomes murder and what's not murder?
Yeah.
And so there was the discussion about the multiple levels of the trimesters, and then when, you know, it is and it is not appropriate to get an abortion. Now, I agree. If a woman is 8-9 months pregnant, 6, 7, 8, 9 months pregnant, I agree. I think that's a little bit much. And you're showing you got a whole baby bump. Then personally,
that's a 40. That's a 40.
I wouldn't. What?
That's a 40.
You stupid.
Go ahead.
A 40 ounce.
Yeah. Somebody cut their phone off.
So yeah, I would disagree. So I think the trimester conversation is a very valid conversation, which is why I think that nobody really ever had any real big issues about it until now, until 2022. Originally started in 1992 when the first issue came up. But go ahead.
Yes, the second issue. What I was about to say is, and see, for me, talking about trimesters, I'm more along the line of the minute you done shot your club up, so to speak, you pregnant, and that's a life inside of you. Once that test comes back says you're pregnant, that's an automatic life. So trimesters to me really don't matter because I believe that life starts immediately.
Right.
So that argument for me kind of like goes out the window if we're talking about trimesters.
So, but then you're saying that you don't believe women should have a right to an abortion?
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is life. I'm talking about life starting. Life starts when the moment we conceive.
But a woman can conceive, you know, a couple weeks. Know that she's pregnant a couple weeks after her missed period.
Yeah.
So you're saying that that's murder?
Yeah. Even abortion is murder. Let's get down and talk about it. Abortion is murder. It's murder.
See,
because what are you doing? You're aborting a child, right? Oh, you gonna let me stand on this ledge by myself? Am I standing?
I'm listening.
Oh, this is some bullshit.
I'm listening.
But okay, that's what
I'm listening.
You're aborting a child, a fetus, or whatever it is. Life is started when you conceive, and aborting a child, period. However you feel about it, whichever trimester you want it in, it's still murder when you actually look at the base of it.
So you're actually saying that you feel like women should not be aborting children?
No, because there's many different levels to it.
So it's interesting that you say that because, you know, this is, you know, this was a conversation back in 1992, you know, Planned Parenthood, you know, versus Casey, you know, but again, you know, Planned Parenthood versus Casey, you know, the court reaffirmed that Roe's holdings that women's rights to choose is a constitutionally protected right in this country, but it abandoned the whole, you know, concept on the trimester.
And see, that's where
this is the argument in 1992. So you're in agreement with the 1992 stance that in Planned Parenthood versus Casey that the trimester perspective is malarkey.
Yes. So and to get further into my belief, like I'm cool. Like you can choose whatever you want to choose. I don't give a shit. If you want to do it, do it. However, you got to look at what it really is. It really is murder because, like I said, you're aborting a life. I believe that life starts immediately. That's what I believe. And you have the right to choose because there's different.
Yeah, but I disagree because I feel like that early the child isn't even developed yet.
What do you mean?
What I'm saying is the fetus isn't developed yet. It's not even a fetus yet.
But it's a life though.
But see, that's the debate though. The debate is when does the child start, or the fetus, when does the fetus really obtain life in the perspective of a soul?
It's only okay. So
the ability to feel
So we're basically just talking about when does life starts, right? That's
Right.
basically what we're talking about.
Right.
So cells are life, right?
I mean,
cells
your sperm is alive.
yes. So
So here's a contradiction, right? That means you're committing murder when you have sex and waste semen.
no, I'm actually trying to.
No. So that, no.
So you
Let's go
said
there.
so okay.
So every time
you masturbate.
every time you masturbate, you're committing murder. This is the argument that we're having.
But
saying
no-
that life exists on a cellular level. So it's the same argument.
Yes, I agree with you. Now here's my back on that.
Okay.
So it's not a full life. It's only half. Because in order for you to get a full life, you have to have the mother's half, the parent half. Correct?
I think now, correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, people, please. But to my knowledge, the woman's eggs are not alive, right? Like the sperm fertilizing the egg is what gives the egg life, right?
Yes.
So
Okay, yeah, you're all right.
Y
Yes.
chromosome comes from the father, right?
Okay.
Which determines a lot of different traits and facts of what the child will be, what they will become, what they will look like. Both parents contribute to that. The lineage from their ancestry contribute. A lot of different variables from DNA contribute to that. But so you have life in your sac.
And that's what, and I try to tell a lot of women that life does not actually start with you. Life starts with me. Oh, we're gonna do
Sound like
we're
a
gonna get my ass
goddamn
kicked.
okay chauvinist. Goddamn, bro.
But it does.
He by himself on that.
But it does because, like you just said it,
Said
the
what?
egg is not doing nothing until I come into it. Get it? Come into it. But it does not start until I do something. A woman cannot have.
Yeah, woman can't. Woman can't have a baby without a man fertilizing her egg.
I then. So life starts when I do something.
Yeah. And you have no rights when you. This is the thing. Like a woman has a rights to your DNA. This is the crazy shit, right? And this is the reason why I feel like there should be some reform as it relates to the family structure of a man's ability to have rights to his own DNA. Because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about a woman having full ownership to your DNA. Nobody can physically own your DNA. So by saying a woman, gets pregnant, takes your DNA, now I own you. I own your DNA. It's mine now.
I own you, nigga.
And you have no rights to it.
Yeah. And what I was saying,
There should be some reform.
When I was saying it was early, which is funny, is because you got men that sit in these positions that makes all these decisions, but then when it comes down to
they're scared.
the ownership of a child, so to speak, it tells you that you have none.
But I wonder if there's this underhanded ploy to say, let's leave that alone because it makes women feel like they're in power. Or it won't make women feel like this is, a dictatorship ran by men.
Fuck it. You know what? You kind of, okay, you're there, but you're not there. So I agree with you, but
That was a question. I said, I wonder if.
Okay. I like that question, but here's the thing. Here's the answer to that. We're leaving out something specific.
What's that?
We're leaving out which culture is it geared towards, because majority of the culture that actually goes through fatherless homes is what?
It's black people.
Okay, then.
Black women lead.
And that's what I think that.
I mean, of course, there's no question in my mind that I feel like it is, centered around racial undertones.
Mm-hmm.
Of course I feel like that, without question. The problem is, but I also can't ignore that there are white men that get thrown into this cusp too.
Yes.
There are, Native, Indian, Mexican, so many different nationalities that get thrown into this box. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like fathers, at the end of the day, should stand united on this front. Yes, black men, we are the most affected, but all fathers matter. All fathers matter. I'm just saying, all fathers do matter in this sense. And at the end of the day, it's when we have a division. Here's the problem: when there's division in this topic, right? The issue, if black men are just complaining, it's not strong enough to go anywhere.
Because they really don't want to listen to us anyway. And
Exactly.
They got
You know what I'm saying?
They got the black women fighting against us.
Exactly. That's the point. So we'll stand up and say, oh, we have an issue with, fathers being in their homes. And unfortunately, a lot of black women will say, you just want to get up paying child support.
Speaking of which,
What?
I looked up something one day. 80% of black men locked up come from single parent homes.
Yeah.
Who's the single parent homes?
Black folks.
Black women.
Yeah. So, but it gets deeper than that. So we can't say you're in agreement to the 1992 argument with Planned Parenthood versus Casey. So, okay, we'll go here now. Okay, so with that being said, your perspectives on you feel like, women should not. So are you saying your stance is you feel like women should not be able to have an abortion?
No, I'm saying they get a choice, but you got to realize what the fuck you're doing.
Oh, so it's okay. So your stance isn't, because that's how they're going to take it. He don't believe in abortion.
No, I believe. So here's let me I'm gonna say I gotta say this exactly. So I don't like abortion. I don't care for abortion. However, you do have, not you, but women do. People should have the right to choose whether they want to or don't want to have an abortion, because there's so many things that add up into it.
I would have liked to have seen, in addition to the bill,
Because I've had a couple.
that included the father.
Yeah.
But again, fathers are treated like second-rate citizens. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't matter. We're not important. And it's like women always talk about, how men, men are in control and in power and, we're taking our independence. Yeah, but we really don't have a whole lot of control and power over things that matter as it relates to if we're not a fucking politician. And we're just average, everyday citizens of this country. When you look at in the topic of what we're talking about, in context, family. Something as simple as family.
And that's one thing that, like, that's good. That's one thing that gets overlooked. It's never a family. It's never a sit down to talk about what's good for a family.
Right.
And even when it comes to us, and I have to go to, even when it comes to us voting, we don't vote as a family. We want to say, like, this is Democrat. What benefits our family? Oh, Democrats are doing this. Let's go vote for the Democrats. No, it makes absolutely no sense.
Right.
So it's just things like that.
And so we have it now, of course, 2022. We have, so we have Justice Samuel Alito Jr., who was put into office by George Bush. And basically, he's saying that they're prepared to overturn, overthrow, Wade versus Roe versus Wade. So the thing is, it tried to pass the filibuster, but it didn't pass, of course.
51-49, I think.
Yeah, 49-51.
Yeah.
Yeah, 49-51. It said by, June? They said they're going to be ready to actually, put out what the actual stipulations or what their position is on Roe versus Wade or whatever. But, the thing is, like I said before, their whole thing is the issues about the trimester I think that's their whole stance. Is like you said before, it's about the whole trimester, determining and dictating at what trimester. Because I think that in Georgia, there was something that passed that said a woman couldn't get an abortion past, I think 6 to 8 weeks or something like that. So I think that may be what they're trying to attack on a broad federal level, is to say that,
The funny thing is, all this shit always starts in Texas.
Yeah.
This shit always starts in Texas. Abortion arguments always start in Texas. And
but, the mention that you mentioned Texas, there are some trigger states that as soon as the bill is overturned, or they come out and they say exactly what their stance is in detail, because we don't know in detail what their stance is, you'll have some states that try to automatically ban outright abortions.
Texas did it.
And Tennessee is another one that is a shadow ban state, where they're like, we're just waiting to push the button.
yeah, Texas made.
Well, waiting to have control over our women. Shut up and get in the kitchen. That's not what I believe. That's not how I feel. I'm just talking about these states that act like that. Like, we're going to ban abortion, dude.
I mean, I got to eat.
So let's talk about what banning abortions also does for black people and black women specifically.
Let's go.
Because black women, So the issue is, number one, black women lead, right, in unintended pregnancy rate.
Okay.
Right? They lead, right? They're double that of non-Hispanics, double that of white, and they have a maternal mortality rate almost 4 times that of every other nationality.
From abortion.
Huh?
From abortion or from pregnancy?
From abortion.
Okay.
With unsafe abortion practices.
Okay. Here's my thing with abortion in the black community.
What's that?
It's the #1 killer. It is the #1 killer in the black community. It kills more people yearly than anything else.
Well, be it from, the fetuses being aborted and the women that actually have a 3 to 4 time mortality rate in other nationality. Right.
Yeah.
So it's
And it's
a double-edged sword, right?
It's a whole nother argument within itself.
But it's a double-edged sword. But again, but if you had that argument, you're going to be having an argument with men like, keep your dick in your pants, wear a condom. So these are going to be the issues. It's like, okay, well, we're blaming black men and black women for having sex unprotected. White women do not lead in, abortions. They don't lead. They don't lead in single parent
homes,
conceiving a child.
Okay.
Unfortunately to say it, that's black women. You check the numbers, unfortunately.
Yes.
But my point is, black women are the ones that are negatively affected by it.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out where you're going with it, because I agree with all of that. Yes. Yeah. But again, that goes to what you said earlier. Where do we attack the argument at? We attack the argument at the unprotected sex on both ends, or do we attack the argument as being, let's both be more self-accountable and responsible?
It's both of those things. You can't attack one without the other. It's both. It's saying that, okay, the issue is accountability. Number one, you shouldn't be out here having all this unprotected sex, shooting a club up. No, you should not. And then it's the accountability for who are you letting shoot up your club.
So
it's both sides. It's not just one person. It's not just blame her and don't blame him. It's not blame him and don't blame her. It's both parties. It's both parties. So that's my whole point, to say that we can't say that, abortions are wrong because they kill all these people. Well, the people who are wrong are the people having sex unprotected, putting themselves in that position, not wearing condoms. I'm pretty sure.
Fuck it. Let's go.
I'm pretty sure all of your kids you shot the club up. I'm pretty sure you did.
Why you say all? Why you make it seem like I got a lot of them?
You do.
I got 2.
Exactly.
That's not a lot.
All of your kids. Both of your. Would you prefer both of your kids?
Yes. There you go.
Okay, I'm sorry. Both of your kids.
Both with
you
the
shot
F.
the club
BOF.
up. You shot the club up.
But they were planned.
Exactly. But that's my point.
I was responsible. I was accountable.
That's the point. What I'm saying is, most guys would be like, "Oh, she got pregnant and I didn't know." Dude, there's more dudes that have contract. I keep saying contracted. They're more.
They did contract. They contracted a crazy bitch.
Right. There are more people, or more men, that actually get women pregnant from not pulling out, from shooting the club up, and they pretend like, I didn't shoot the club, but yes, you did, fool. You shot the club up.
That's the only way to get pregnant.
They'll say, oh, well, pre-cum.
That's a dumbass argument.
Most guys do. Because most doctors will tell you, oh, you can still get pregnant from pre-cum. So most dudes be like, yeah, she got pregnant from pre-cum. No, you shot the club up, bro. Let's stop pretending here. So that's my whole point. Okay. So when there's women letting men shoot the club up and men willingly shooting up the club, I can't turn around and get behind that argument and say, oh, abortions kill so many people, and that's the problem. No, the problem is you niggas shooting the club up and a woman you don't want to marry, you have no intentions of marrying, and you don't want to marry and have no intentions of marrying. Don't even want to stay with her.
Okay.
But you're shooting the club up.
Go ahead. I got to put it like this. Go ahead. We're back. So this is the whole thing. And, I'm back. This is the whole thing. So in order for me to shoot the club up, she got to let me in there, right?
Yeah. Or it's rape. It has to be consensual, yes. What's your point?
Yes, she has to say yes to get me in there.
What's your point?
She has to be accountable within herself to know, if she don't want to get pregnant, don't let me run in there naked.
But you can't just blame her. It's not all on her. It's him too. It's both of y'all. You shouldn't be going there busting the club up.
Here's the opposite of where I stand from as far as when it comes to when you abort. It's her choice to let me come in there naked. If you don't want to get pregnant,
it's your choice to come in there naked too. It's not just her choice. It's your choice too.
I'm pretty sure
it's both of y'all choice.
I'm pretty sure a lot of women gonna agree with me. Nigga, we ain't that smart.
No,
we ain't that smart.
No, it's both of y'all choice. It's both of y'all choice.
I do, but you
can't blame her because you chose not to pull out. You let me come in it.
You did. You should have been so good.
Fuck is wrong with you, dude?
But hey,
it's your fault because you got good pussy. Shut up. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. But it don't
Thank you.
Oh,
it does make sense. But in totality, 100%, it does not fall back on her. Yes, I agree with you.
Okay.
I do agree with you. It does not 100% fall on her.
It's both. It's 50-50.
60-40.
50-50.
30-70.
50-50. Final motherfucking answer. That's what it is. It's 50-50.
You want to call a friend?
So what's the phones ain't set up for that.
Pretty soon we will be. Anyway, let's go. But yeah, so I agree with you. It is both, but the percentage wise varies.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
It's 50-50, bro.
Okay.
Let us know in the comment section what you believe, what you think. Is it 50-50?
I'm
Is
ready
it
for the attack.
60-40?
I'm ready.
Because I'm going to tell you it's fucking 50-50.
Okay.
Both of y'all grown-ass adults. And that's why I can't sit here and get behind this whole argument that, oh, yeah, abortions are running kill all this many black. Well, these niggas should be out here fucking raw, not pulling out. They got nothing to do with me.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that point. But yet,
So I lose no tears as it relates to abortions. That's not my business. And I feel like
it has to be.
No, it's not. It's not my business. And I feel like that's the point. Too many people have this entitlement with trying to ingest themselves in someone else's fucking decision when it's not my decision. I shouldn't be fucking.
The reason I say it has to be, but it's not yet. The reason I say it has to be is because that, and hopefully you'll never go through this. If a young woman does get pregnant by you and she says, "Hey, this is my option," so that's why I said it has to be. Because if she sits down and want to have a conversation with you, then it is your business.
No, the stance I'm talking, you're talking about something completely different.
Okay.
The stance that I'm objecting to is you originally said, how you feel about as a whole.
Okay, all right.
Because you were saying that the leading cause of death in the black community is abortion, blah blah. I was saying I don't care about that. It doesn't bother me because that's not my business. As it relates to if two people go have sex, that's a private act. Their family is their private act. Their family. Now, there is the freedom of information and public information, all that stuff, but I'm saying that as it relates to the family structure, that is their business, their life. If they choose to go and abort a baby, if we're talking about overall percentages, how many black people do it, it's not my business. That's like me having an argument about how many women let dudes fuck them in the ass. That's not my business. But because it applies to a fetus, I feel like I have the right to have my 2 cents on what somebody else does with their family.
No,
business.
That's not what I'm saying.
So to me, my stance is people may say, well, hey, it's the same thing. No, but I'm saying it's private. Somebody's family, whether they choose to have an abortion or not, if he shoots the club up and he chooses, you know what? Go take this damn plan B. Same thing. A plan B
is abortion.
It's stopping this. It's stopping.
I've never used one.
But it's an early. But really, is it really an abortion? It's not really an abortion per se because all it does is it forces a woman to go on her period earlier, and it's supposed to. That's what it's supposed to do. It's when a woman takes a plan B, it makes her speeds up her cycle so that the egg and the don't
just
meet.
Drops out.
Right. So the whole point is, but it's a form of forced induced abortion.
So instead of
that's not my business.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but again, it's apples and oranges, tomato, right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So my whole point is, as it relates to you shooting the club up and you getting pregnant, you want abortion or not, I hate to say it, I don't count that in the atrocities, that are hurting my community, right? Because at the end of the day, they're people just fucking.
Well, no, I'm not saying hurting.
Most babies
I'm not
saying aborted.
Hurting. I'm not saying it's hurting.
No, I'm not saying you're saying that.
Okay.
I'm just saying you hear a lot of these righteous community people. Oh, the number one killer in our community is abortions, and we stand against abortion, which is bullshit in my opinion. Because at the end of the day, that's not my argument. It's not my business. That abortions come from people just wanting to fuck raw. That's what it comes from. I want to fuck raw.
Yeah, yes.
We kind of got into each other too much. I wanted to get freaky. I shot the club up. You know what I'm saying?
Now here's the thing about that, and even though I brought that up, speaking standpoint on that point, two people just want to fuck raw. Majority of the time, I don't know if them two people should have a child together.
Exactly. This is the point that I'm getting at. This is why I say when people have those arguments about it hurts our community, bro, I don't think you want those kids to be an addition to our community because it's just two people just want to be fucking raw.
Getting back to
he didn't want to pull out. That's all it is.
To my original argument, well, part of my original argument, the reason I'm not for or against abortion is because it's so many variables that come into abortion. And that's just where I stand at. So it's your choice, but at least have a conversation.
Yeah, so in closing, my stance is that I feel like, as it relates to abortions, I feel like a woman has a right if she want to abort a kid, whenever she want to abort a kid. I agree with that. My thing with the whole trimester thing, I think it's a little inhumane when the baby is showing 5-6 months. I would feel some kind of way about that.
Yeah.
That's
God.
What happened?
Just thinking about it, dude.
I think because, and I remember I saw a program where it was showing in some senses they like suck the baby out limb by limb. Like that's some fucked up shit. That's pretty graphic. I feel like once a baby starts forming and has eyes and feet and has a soul and a heartbeat, I think it's a little fucked up. And I think that's where the conversation starts. And I think this is what, the Supreme Court is talking about, this whole trimester argument, right? But again, we don't know what their exact position is until they come out next month. Next month or in June sometime.
Yeah, it has to come out. It has to come out after. They're trying to make it come out after the $33 billion for Ukraine. My bad. Ukraine.
You're stupid. So I'm interested to see what their stance is because, like I said, the Supreme Court did come back and say, well, we do feel and believe The Supreme Court did come out and say, well, we do believe and feel that a woman's constitutional rights should be protected, and her rights to privacy should be protected. But again, we don't know necessarily what their stance is. They claim their stance is the whole trimester kick. I don't know. But like I said, in Georgia, I think there has been, a push to say that I think it's only 8 months. I'm not 8 months.
Damn.
It's only 8 weeks. But again, I don't know for sure. I didn't research it, but because I personally don't plan to shoot nobody club up, and I ain't trying to marry or already be married too. You know what I'm saying? So, and if you do, get your plan B. It's like $50.
And with that being said, please like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. Just let them know that we back.
Let them know that we back, and let them know that if you want to shoot the club up, CVS, $50. We even got a generic brand for you. You can shoot the club up all you want. Plan B.
How many can you take in a day?
I think just one.
Just one?
You're not supposed to use them like a contraceptive.
So
plan B is
not like
supposed so it's supposed to be like plan B. Like, oh my God, like they have that meme video that goes, oh my God, it's just coming me. It's like, yeah, after I no, the first one is, oh my God, it's just coming me. Everybody has like the little the nozzle from the gas station inside of the car. And there's one that's like, oh, did you pull out? And he's like, yeah, after I nutted. Yeah, so I mean,
it's a great one.
It's a good one. You know what I'm saying? I pulled out after I nutted. So that's the whole point. If it's a situation like that, did you come at me? Yeah. Did you pull out after I nutted? Okay, plan B. That's when it's going to be the plan B. You a little freaky. You on that Hennessy, you on that oil, or you doing too much. Let's go get a plan B. That's what it's for. It's, or if you want to plan to be like, hey, baby, I want to do some freaky shit. I want to bust in you for Christmas. You know what I'm saying? That's my Christmas present. Let me come in that. Let me come in that pussy. You know what I'm saying? I'll give Rob a plan B. When you open on Christmas, you know what it is. You know what I'm saying? I get to use the plan B when I want to. Have fun with it. Cool. But you know what I'm saying? I feel like, With that being said, we out. Controversial, we out of here.